When Clara, my fiancée, pulled me aside and said she needed some space, the world seemed to shift beneath me. Her tone was measured, her expression unreadable, as she admitted to developing feelings for a coworker named Mason. She told me she was confused, uncertain of what she truly wanted, and believed time apart would help her figure it out. I didn't protest. I didn't plead. I gave her a quiet nod, walked out of the apartment we'd shared, and made a choice that would change the course of my life. Without telling anyone, I packed a few essentials and left the city. I headed to a small, peaceful town 6 hours away, where my old college friend Ryan lived. He helped me get on my feet. I found a modest apartment, kept up with my remote job, and tried to breathe again. My focus shifted toward piecing myself back together. The nights, especially in the beginning, were the hardest. I kept replaying our last conversation, wondering if she missed me, if Mason made her happy, or if she had already forgotten me. I couldn't resist looking at her social media. Photos of her smiling, often with Mason in the frame, flooded my feed. One day, unable to bear it any longer, I unfollowed her. In fact, I removed myself from every social platform entirely. That moment felt like severing the last thread tying me to the hope that she might return. I started waking early to run, eating healthier, and joined a small gym down the road. Slowly, something shifted. The heartbreak was still there, but it no longer controlled me. I started building new habits and connections in this unfamiliar place, where no one knew my past or associated me with Clara. I rediscovered a part of myself I'd neglected for years. Painting. Back in college, it had been my passion. Now, in the quiet of this new town, I found comfort in it again. The silence that once scared me became something sacred. The pain didn't vanish overnight, but it began to heal. With Ryan's support and encouragement from a local artist, I eventually opened a tiny studio in the heart of town. It wasn't grand, but it was mine. People started noticing my work. I was even featured in the local magazine. It all felt a bit like a dream, the kind where you wake up and realize you've grown into someone stronger without realizing it. One gray, rainy afternoon, Clara showed up. I hadn't seen her in half a year. She looked nervous, holding a damp umbrella and uncertainty in her eyes. She told me she'd heard about my studio and wanted to see it. I stayed calm, offered a polite smile, and welcomed her inside. She wandered through the space, taking in the paintings, complimenting them quietly. Then she stopped, took a breath, and admitted she'd made a mistake. Mason, she said, had lost interest a few months in, and by the time she realized what she had lost with me, it was too late. Her voice cracked as she asked if we could talk. Maybe even try again. But something inside me had shifted. Hearing her speak felt like watching a scene from an old film. Familiar, nostalgic, but no longer alive in the present. I thanked her for being honest, but gently told her I had moved on. Not just from her, but from the version of myself that had once loved her so deeply. She nodded, holding back tears, her regret etched on her face. After she left, I sat alone in the studio, not overwhelmed, not triumphant, just at peace. I had imagined this moment so many times, expecting some emotional reckoning, but it came and went quietly, like a soft closing door. I wasn't angry anymore. I was simply finished. That night, I joined friends to celebrate a birthday. We laughed, danced, and told stories late into the night. In that moment, I realized I was genuinely happy again. Not because Clara had returned, but because I'd found myself. A few weeks later, she sent me a final message, thanking me for being kind and wishing me well. I responded warmly but briefly, offering my own goodbye, one I had already said in my heart long ago. In time, I began dating again carefully. I met someone who shared my love for art, quiet mornings, and strong coffee. We moved at a gentle pace. Two people with their own past wounds, trying to build something honest and lasting. Reflecting on everything, I see now that Clara's request for space, as painful as it was the very thing that set me free. That fracture in our love gave me the room to grow, to explore, and to become a person I truly respected. I found a new town, a different life, and above all, a version of myself I never knew I needed. Sometimes, the loss of one person leads to the discovery of everything else.